I'll go for you. I'll fight for you. I'll kill for you. I will.
Hello, and welcome back to the Plutocracy Report on PRN. I'm Vince Marcanti, and since the last time we talked, well, I've been overworked and overstressed and dealing with some anger and anxiety over our state of insanity and sheepy apathy in America and local taxes and bills, and I almost didn't get to do a show this week. I mean, maybe they're bombarding me with radio wave frequencies that make one feel stupid, useless, and suicidal. But god darn it, I'm still here, and I managed to scrape together some thoughts just in time. Now, I don't have any callers or clips or funny segments planned, and I don't feel like being funny this week, so this will be an all-serious show from my demented mind that will showcase a brand new original demo song that we just recorded, and I'm very excited to share it with you wonderful, exclusive Pluto heads. Well, as always, I hope you're all doing well despite living in a totally unnatural and insane society and culture driven by fiat money, greed and competition, and devoid of anything that would coincide with our true nature as human beings, such as compassion for others. I think I want to expand on this because I always proudly say I get to the root causality, and, of course, our abidance to plutocracy is the root cause that we must address. So let's take a look at what I just said, because it's a symptom of living in this competition-based culture. And I'm not talking about healthy and chosen competition like sports, which is only healthy if you can handle losing and be polite about it. I hate sore losers. I'm talking about our distorted and dysfunctional idea and implementation of capitalism, where they say everything, including the necessities of life, should be based on competition for fiat money, so the plutocrats can enjoy unlimited socialism in the form of free money bailouts and tax breaks. This unnatural socioeconomic structure constructed by the plutocrats has distorted and essentially destroyed our true nature as human beings. Simply put, we live in a culture of separation, and there are 4 types of alienation. I believe it was Karl Marx who first talked about this pertaining to workers. But I'm going to expand upon it and give my own theories. That'll be far more brilliant than Marx, of course. That guy was merely a child thinker compared to the great Marcanti. Actually, this stuff is obvious if you look into what our capitalist construct has created. Now, the first type of alienation is alienation of nature. This is so obvious and blatant. If you haven't noticed, you really are a clueless sheepy, totally devoid of reality and how much we carelessly destroy our habitat. And maybe religious Republicans don't notice because to them nature is just something to serve us, and we can never harm it because the planet is simply a gift from God. But on every level, you can see how a majority is disconnected from nature. In many ways, it's our enemy. People can't even handle having a raccoon eat out of the garbage, and they call someone to come remove it from the area or kill it. That just reminded me of a post I saw about these a-holes. Here it is. Each year in the coastal areas of the Danish islands of Faroe, thousands of dolphins are slaughtered by teenagers who celebrate that they have reached adulthood in this cruel way. I mean, it makes you think, like, bring on the extinction event, because never has a species ever been more deserving of it. I mean, we're not all bad, but too many are. We are at a point when people don't even look at the sky anymore and wonder why high-flying jets emit white trails that linger and fan out to a wispy overcast, giving our once blue skies a milky white blur. Many people won't even care if they knew it was a geoengineering experiment being kept secret from the public. They got to make hay and pay bills, and that's all that really matters to them. This aspect of separation and alienation is what will soon cause the extremely premature extinction of the human race, and it currently is driving hundreds of species to extinction every freaking day. And we don't care because plutocrat capitalism effectively separated us from nature, and the indigenous race of natives who did respect nature that we committed genocide on, they were deemed uncivilized, thereby saying brutal savagery and annihilation of the natural world is civilized. For a social construct that has no respect to nature and the web of life, we must be separated from nature and be able to believe what the most greedy and ruthless and unnatural leaders tell us. Up is down, black is white, 2 + 2 is 5, and the environmental devastation is progress. So alienation from nature is number one, and that is so obvious. Now, the second type is alienation from other people. We have less real contact with each other, less honest and intimate relationships. You learn not to trust anyone in this scam society. Scams are the biggest form of business in America. Nearly everyone is a scammer, from big business to small ones, from the auto industry to healthcare. I mean, you think some mechanics are scammers? Did I really need a new alternator, or was the battery just low? And how about doctors? Did I really need an expensive operation, or did he just need to make a payment on his yacht? How about the government? Can you trust them? Or their institutions that say unhealthy things are okay, even good for you? Corporations are so honest and trustworthy, right? They do what's best for the consumers, not the shareholders. Scamming is an essential part of capitalism, and the so-called free market system requires it. We can't even trust what's in our food, water, and air, the essential requirements for life. They used to label MSG, monosodium glutamate, on the ingredients label until people found out how bad it is. So instead of not using it because it was a cheap fake flavor enhancer, they just renamed it as spices. Wow, we can trust them, huh? We learn not to trust other people if we realize we have a scam society and we have less contact with each other. And the more isolated you are, the more stressed you are, and your relationships suffer, and you're more likely to become ill. And it's totally unnatural to our true nature because we are wired for compassion, not competition. Okay, so we're alienated from nature and from each other, and that will increase propensity to illness, both physical and mental. Now, the third type of alienation is from our work. We are a creative and productive species, and when we do work that is not creative, that is not conducive to who we truly are, that inevitably imposes depression and anxiety from a life of meaninglessness. For many of us, there is no meaning in what we do. It's just for money, and if your job is detrimental to nature and others, you could just block it out. I mean, many Americans will do anything for money, I'm just here to make a buck. I don't give a crap what it harms. What we spend most of our lives doing, which is trying to make enough money to survive and buy crap that we think might make us happier, it's all filled with meaninglessness. If you work for a corporation that makes something, the design and development of a product is not in the hands of a worker, but within the decisions of the capitalist higher-ups. A worker does not have control over what he or she produces or the specifications of his or her product. So in this sense, alienation of work is the surrender of control and the separation of an essential aspect of the self. A society based on capitalist economic system promotes norms and standards that reduce an individual worker to a mere commodity or simply an instrument of production who lacks control over his or her vocation. Capitalism involves the objectification and commodification of the experiences and activities of workers. Some people try to make up for this dread of meaninglessness by obsessing over how we look or how people feel about us, or how much we can obtain or possess to compensate for the lack of genuine meaning. And this society has plenty of things for us to buy to substitute for our loss of meaning. But we are inevitably going to realize a life of meaninglessness if we admit it to ourselves or not. Hence the fact that even rich people who buy tons of crap still can get depressed. Now, people like me, which are rare indeed, who are self-employed and honest and fair to the customer, even more rare, you are punished by our system of for-profit everything. For instance, I can't afford our insurance-based healthcare system of scams. Nobody who is self-employed making 30 grand a year or less can afford it on their own. So, we go uninsured and hope nothing happens until we're old enough for Medicare, which also scams you. This was until that wonderful Obama administration of the plutocrats passed a bill that demands we pay insurance that we can't afford, or we'll be penalized when we pay our taxes. Ooh, how nice! Affordable Care Act, my ass. How wonderful and benevolent you dummycrats are. I mean, even the name is deceitful. Ugh, it's very upsetting, and a society that doesn't demand a rational, honest, single-payer, not-for-profit healthcare system is so dysfunctional and alienated that only a population of pure sheepies obedient to plutocratic rule could tolerate it. All right, where was I? I digressed a bit, but alienation from our work is the third type. Now, the fourth type of alienation is from ourselves. We are born with an instinct to trust ourselves. You know what a gut feeling is and how many times do have to ignore it to conform to our capitalist society. Oh, at some point in our childhood, we were taught to ignore our gut feelings in order to perpetuate this culture and system of capitalist plutocracy. We must be alienated from our true selves because who we truly are is bad for business. Even most parents instill this in their kids because they're too programmed for plutocracy and stressed out to honor or even recognize who you truly are. Therefore, we are programmed to ignore our gut feelings that could tell us wrong from right and what is true and what is false. Hence, we no longer see reality or even know what's true and what is lies. Now, this is the main focus for the control structure of unnatural greed. We must be alienated from ourselves to abide with this system of insanity, and it starts at a very young age. I mean, throughout our educational system of conformity, and our parents who think making us well-adjusted to a profoundly sick society is the most important thing they can do for their kids. Now, this is all very clear and undeniable to a rational, observing, unbiased mind, which is also rare. But I want to tell you that we can change at any time, and we can regain connection to ourselves and nature. This socioeconomic structure is unnatural and artificial. Our true instincts are that of empathy and compassion and cooperation. We are wired for empathy, as are many other species, like rats, for instance. I heard they stressed rats in an experiment by shocking their feet. How nice, huh? But when the rats weren't shocked, but they observed other rats being shocked, their stress hormones were even higher. We have an intrinsic propensity to be empathetic, but our culture tells us we are meant to be separated individuals and are by nature aggressive and competitive creatures. Now, this is programmed artificiality to perpetuate this unnatural greed-based culture where we admire money hoarders and plutocrats and charlatan scammers like Elon Musk, and we aspire to be what we are not meant to be. Now, the truth is, we are wired for empathy, compassion, and love. So despite generations of programmed greed and artificiality and aggression and competition, all we have to do is get back to our true nature. I know it might not be easy for some. Some of us are ready to make the change, and some will fight it with all their ability. But the transformation is available to us. So no matter how depressing and hopeless the crap I talk about is, I still believe we can change, and a great awakening to reality and a return to our true selves is possible.
Shut up, Vince, you goofy dreamer. Grow up and accept the way things are.
Yeah, okay, sheepies. F you. Well, I hope that was interesting. Now let's move on to other issues. I've known for a long time I have what I thought was a special ability to see things coming and trust my gut feelings. But it's not special, just something that was taken from most of us, as I just described. Well, maybe I am a special case. I mean, I am the great Vincetradomus. I can project what's to come by observing what's presently going on, and it's good to know the history of whatever issue you're making predictions upon, if it's available to you. Now, sometimes it's easy to predict things, like back in the 80s when I was a smart-ass, rebellious punk in my teens. Well, I guess I still am. But like if we were at a kegger party and I saw some drunk dude stumbling around and hitting on all the chicks and being belligerent, I would tell my friends, hey, check it out, this idiot's going to get his ass kicked before the party ends. And no one would believe me. No, he's just drunk. He'll be fine. But sure enough, the guy would hit on someone's girlfriend or stumble into someone and spill their beer, and he'd get beat up. Stuff like that is easy to see if you're paying attention. Same with political issues and the past economic issues. Now it's not so easy. They said the real estate market couldn't collapse, and no one saw it coming in 2008. Well, except some Wall Street prick who bet against it, and they made a movie about him, played by Batman. But back in 2005, if you had a mortgage on a house and they told you the value on your property doubled, and it'll just keep going up forever, you know what you got to do, right? Refinance and take out a home equity loan.
Come on, man, your house is a piggy bank. It's free money. Take it out and get yourself a hot tub after you remodel your house.
Well, I saw it coming while the economy was booming with all the borrowing and market mischief like mortgage-backed securities was going on. And they coined the term securitization to give a name to some financial finagling in which home loans were packaged together by Wall Street firms and sold to institutional investors. Asset alchemy is what it is. Hey, actually, that's a new Vinny term I just created. Feel free to use it. And they thought it was safe as can be, but I saw that people weren't going to be able to afford increasing monthly payments for long, and defaults were inevitable. But people didn't start making more money. They just had easier access to loans. People have their insurance and property taxes wrapped up in their monthly mortgage payments, and that went up too. Even after the crash around here in Illinois, the property taxes kept going up, and they still are. That's what's pissing me off. I just had to make a payment. Well, they almost killed me with those taxes, and if I took out a home equity loan back then, when everyone else was doing it, I would have lost my house like a lot of people did. Fluctuating property value is a scam too when you think about it, because if everyone's value goes up, it's of no value to the homeowner. If you sell your house because real estate value is high, the next house you buy is going to be overvalued too, especially if it's in the same neighborhood. That's why the Marcanti clan moved an hour from the Chicago area, because property value was a little lower out here. But the Illinois tax rats still suck us dry out here as well. Now, sometimes it's beneficial to see what's going to happen while others are oblivious. But in most cases, knowing what's going to happen doesn't really help you much, because you can't change it yet unless we unite. And you can't benefit from it if you aren't rich and have the capital to make huge bets. There is no advantage to me knowing who will win an election, or if we will soon declare war with Iran, or what is behind a trade war with China. All we can do is speak out and make people aware real systemic change is needed in our governmental system. Since I was a young lad, I could always see things coming from Carter to Obama, and I always knew who would win by fraud or fair play. Now, Reagan was easy for me to predict even at that young age. After they got through with Carter, he was known as a wimpy socialist who didn't love oil enough to negotiate a hostage situation with Iran. We needed a tough guy like Reagan to scare the crap out of them evil Arabs. So Ronnie played the populist for change character, and of course I knew he would win. So during those deceptive years, the economy grew from plutocrats scamming, and the Russians gave up, and he got reelected and went 8 dementia-filled years of script reading for the plutocrats. So after those 8 horrible years, at that point the economy was still tolerable for sheepies, despite increasing corporate and government fleecing of the people. So I knew we would be treated to a 3rd Republican term with George H.W. Bush, a boring and conniving old coot. But the majority was voting for more of the same, which was the Hillary campaign. And that's the basis of a party going for a 3rd presidential term. And that usually means the vice president becomes president, which happened in that case. So we had 12 years of Republicans. So despite Georgie Boy kicking some ass in Iraq in the first war there, it was time for a change candidate, and Slick Willie Clinton was ready to play that part. The plutocrats' total totalitarian takeover carried on under a Democrat now, and in fact it accelerated without any objection by the Democrats, because now the Democrats were supporting plutocracy policy just as strongly as Republicans. I mean, you have to take their money to win elections in this plutocracy. So I guess you can't blame them, right? Well, we should finally face the facts and blame ourselves for letting it happen. So Clinton was a Republican in policy, and the only thing the Republicans were allowed to focus on, since they agreed with his policy, is how much a sinner Clinton is. He slept with other women. We got to impeach that sinner. It's not unlike how Democrats are now forced to focus on Russian election meddling. And they tried the porn star crap and locker room talking crap. And now it's his taxes. Let's see the tax returns. It's so important. Anything but real issues and policy, because both parties are patriotic, pro-plutocrat agenda lovers. So Clinton went 8 years, and the Democrats liked his slick and sneaky style. But I had a feeling it was a party change election. But we all knew it would be close. And I guessed it would be little baby Bush, because the plutocrats preferred him over the global warming guy, Al Gore. And they were only able to win that election by rigging a small number of counties in a few battleground states. It was amazing and so blatant. I, of course, was still campaigning for Ralph Nader back then, because I naively still had hope back then, and the Democrats blamed Ralph for the close loss that went to the Supreme Court before Al Gore, cowardly and no doubt pre-planned, conceded the election to George W. Bush. And we were treated to 8 horrific years of plutocrat pillage and plunder of our future. First term, it was Florida that they rigged to beat Al Gore, and Ohio was rigged to beat John Kerry. Both elections were extremely close. After Bush destroyed the Middle East and the economy and ushered in a police state plutocracy, it was definitely a change election, and Obama played the agent of change part. He did it pretty well, too, didn't he? I mean, I knew he would win. I think most people did. And no election rigging was needed for Obama against John McCain or Mitt Romney. Then, despite the delusions of the Democrats, things got much worse. The plutocrats were allowed to bail themselves out and solidify total control of the monetary system, because instead of changing the system, we all agreed they can never fail because they're too big to fail. At this point, with total control and sedation of the people, The only way a system can change is if it fails. And under a Democrat, Obama, they ensured the market can never fail due to debt or loss of fiat funny money called the dollar. So after 8 horrific years of Obama, Democrats were still loyal, and they thought Obama was the best president ever. He's so cute. But most people wanted change because they were still frickin' struggling financially. But you only get 2 choices, and all Republicans in government, they're all a bunch of goofy fools who love plutocracy already. So they needed an outsider to rile up the base, and Trump was the dumb-talking maverick who played the populist part. You know, talking about change and kicking them Mexicans out and building a big old wall. That sounds like progress, huh, Republicans? Now the plutocrat preferred player was Hillary Clinton, no doubt, who no one really liked. So they had to rig her way through the stupid, undemocratic Democratic primaries. Then in the presidential race, I figured they had to have her opponent be someone so disgusting and disgraceful that it would be a narrow win for Hillary. You know, it would at least be a close race that the commercial media could really run with. But for them, whatever happens, they wanted an exciting race to distract us, you know, not a landslide for Democrats. And any slightly likable actor for the Democrats would have won, like Bernie. But I stupidly predicted Hillary would win, and even if they had to rig it. It was the first time I was wrong about a presidential race. Or almost anything. I also thought we would have another market crash by 2016, and I was wrong about that too. I mean, I thought gas prices would have been higher, and that would be enough to show how tight the bottom half was with cash. Well, the mighty Vincetradomus went down in flames. But I'm back, and I know things are going to go up in price. Things that can't be controlled, like crop failure due to climate change. And the tax rats are still giving us the final fleecing any way they can. Something is going to give soon, and the plutocrats know it's coming, even though the sheepies are pretty oblivious to it. Well, they went 11 years of creating a new unprecedented financial system of pure artificiality and delusion and confusion with unlimited debt creation, with permanent low interest rates. This quantitative easing system has reached the limit, and reality of our scam system and the implications are inescapable. They know this, and they have plans for it. The plans are already in motion because we're close to that point of the start of what will be deemed as a recession. I believe the hype trade war with China is part of the plan, and so is threat of war with Iran, and false flags are possibly being planned out now. I, Vincetradomus, however, I'm sticking to my prediction that war is not in the cards for our plutocrats because we can't win a war. We're a paper tiger that couldn't even beat the Taliban. Now, I'm pretty sure there definitely will be bombing campaigns because that we can handle. It's extremely easy, and it's a lot easier than putting a couple 100,000 boots on the ground. You know what? I'll touch more on that in the second half. But now, let's take a much-needed musical break before we get into more madness of the plutocrats and apathetic sheepies who obey them. Oh boy, am I excited, because I'm going to play you a brand new demo that has just been recorded in a dirty, smoke and booze-filled basement. And this one was written by both me, Vince L. Marcanti, and my son, the sound engineer of this show, Vinny R. Marcanti, who you all know as Vinny Jr. And it was recorded and mixed by Kevin O'Gorman, who also played the guitars for this song, you know, rhythm, lead, and bass. I played the drums and sing, so hopefully we're going to make many more demos and not take so long between songs, no matter how busy and stressful our lives are. Now, I have plenty of material ready to go, and only laziness or apathy can stop us. Anyway, I wrote the lyrics, and you can interpret them any way you like. But to me, the guy in this song is fed up with our society and can't play along with the bullcrap anymore. So he desires to break free from it all and break free from the zombie sheepies in the big city and find a personal place for peace, perhaps out in the country, and reconnect with nature. In fact, a place so beautiful and so peaceful, it would make a perfect place to die. Roll it, Vinny Jr.
Thinks I got a promise, I will just behave and not be so alarmist. But I won't behave. These people blow hot air like wind out of the tailpipe. They wanna play a game and see who felt the best ride. But I won't play. Yeah, gonna find a place where the evergreens meets the sky. Place to die. Gonna find that place and I'll never be feeling down, 'cause you ain't coming round. Well, most of what we learned in school or on the TV, I figured out were lies and now you can't deceive me. And I must say, I can't contain the anger burning up my insides. I gotta find a place for peace where I can just hide. But I own my rage. Yeah, gonna find a place where the growing thing gets me high, like Lucy in the sky. Gonna find a place where I'll never be hanging round with all the fools in town. About the game and things that have no meaning, 'cause I still use my brain. Trapped inside a world of make-believe and routine, I'm making my escape where I can lead my own dream, and there I'll stay. Yeah, gonna find a place where the growing thing gets me high, like Lucy in the sky.
Oh, yeah. That was a perfect place to die. An original Marcanti song, the first ever recorded father and son collaboration with Vinny Jr. And my deepest thanks to Kevin O'Gorman, who I worked with in the past, for recording it and adding his wonderful guitar talent to bring that song to fruition. I played the drums and did lead vocals, so don't tell me they sucked and discourage me from singing more, like some of my friends like to do. I hate critics who never did anything creative in their lives, but, they love to criticize people who do. Oh boy, well, that was fun, and it made me feel better. And music is my tether to sanity in this insane culture. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that, because you're never going to hear it anywhere else, unless anyone out there wants to give me a record contract and pay radio stations to play it. If you like that tune and want a copy of it, or just want to communicate with me, just email me at the plutocracyreport@gmail.com. But I'm pretty sure no one will. Well, save a few of you wonderful people I'm so happy to talk to already. I haven't had any new friends from Facebook lately either, and I really have been discouraged to use Facebook since the last show. Whatever. I mean, it could be a great place to start a revolution, but that's not happening, is it? And I'm getting sick of all this sheepy babble out there. Wouldn't that blow their minds if we used Fakebook to plan and organize resistance and alter our entire form of governance and kick them all out? That would be great. They would be freaking out. Oh God, what are we going to do? We got to shut down Facebook. That would be great. God, that's my dream. But so far, it's just not happening, is it? I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. They're even shadow banning us who are trying to spread truth. And even a lot of the people who are spreading truth are not talking about uniting and doing something about this horrible system we live in. We have to be active and start planning resistance and protests and a freaking revolution. But, in the meantime, nothing is really happening out there. And I don't care if people don't want to hear from me anymore or hear my music or whatever. I mean, we create art and do things like this show because we need to speak out. At least I do. And it would be great to know someone else likes it, but I don't give a crap anymore. I freaking like it, and that's enough for me, I guess. And I love this show, and I'm going to try to keep it going. I don't care if we don't catch on with a bigger audience anymore. I just wish more people had a chance to hear about it. So tell your friends to tune in, my friends. And every show is available in the archives. Just click the Plutocracy Report on the PRN schedule. It's Friday at 4, and everything I do is free. I just want to connect with other people. I'm tired of feeling alienated in this sheepy society, and I bet some of you all out there are tired of it too. All right, I'm sorry for venting my egotistical frustrations. I guess I'll never be as popular as Jimmy Dore. Can you tell I had a couple of hard weeks? All right. I also hosted a week-long pity party for myself. Poor me, huh? All right. Well, I'm better now. And let's get on with the show. I didn't do an environmental segment at the start, because I went into that rant about separation. But let's touch on a few things. Now, here in Chicago, it was still winter in mid-May, and we had snow in late April. And when storm cells pass, we have had, quite a bit of them, almost nearly every day around here. But we get abnormally low temperatures, and I mean 35 degrees below average for this time of year. It drives me nuts to still hear my heat kicking on in late May and having to bundle out to go do work outside. And when the sun does shine, it goes immediately above normal. I mean, it's weather whiplash, which is occurring, and geoengineering is at the highest level it's ever been. I remember seeing righty Facebook memes that said, "Trump is demanding an end to geoengineering." And I commented, come on now. Trump probably doesn't even know what the hell geoengineering is. And it's been ramped up. And you know what happened. They call me an idiot. Now, I see the temperature maps on the news that they show real quick. They don't talk about it or go into detail. And they never acknowledge how freaking anomalistic the temperature difference is in regions across the nation, even close to each other. You got way below and then above normal. And like we went from the 40s to the 80s on Wednesday, but nothing strange is happening, right, you script readers? They have to report how extreme weather is occurring on a daily basis, but they never utter the words climate change. You know, tornadoes are breaking out like crazy. Listen to some of these headlines.
Violent, long-lasting tornadoes threaten Oklahoma and Texas. Dangerous storm spawns 15 tornadoes across southern plains. 48 million under threat of severe weather as hail, rain, and tornadoes move east. Dozens of tornadoes reported as central U.S. braces for rain, wind, and hail. Tornadoes, damaging winds, and unprecedented flooding hits part of the central U.S., and on it goes. This is what will become normal, as increasing extreme weather is inevitable within accelerating climate change due to our unwavering system of climate devastation and geoengineering. The biggest lies of omission are how they won't mention how this will affect the artificial and barbaric economic system we refuse to systemically change now. You know, not in 2100 like Amy Goodman on Democracy Later reports. And fiat dollar bailouts aren't going to help. I mean, will insurance companies go bankrupt or refuse to pay people whose homes got busted up by tornadoes or floods or whatever? Will food prices soar and drive us further into poverty? Of course they will.
Listen to this headline from the 15th.
Total catastrophe for U.S. corn production. Only 30% of U.S. cornfields have been planted. 5-year average is 66%. 2019 is turning out to be a nightmare that never ends for the agriculture industry. Thanks to endless rain and unprecedented flooding, fields all over the middle part of the country are absolutely soaked right now, and this has prevented many farmers from getting their crops in the ground. I knew this was a problem, but when I heard that only 30% of U.S. cornfields have been planted as of Sunday, I really had a hard time believing it.
Oh yeah, 'cause the truth is so hard to believe, huh, dumbass?
But it turns out that the number is 100% accurate. And at this point, corn farmers are up against a wall
because crop insurance final planting dates have either already passed or are coming up very quickly.
In addition, for every day after May 15th that corn is not in the ground, farmers lose approximately 2% of their yield. Unfortunately, more rain is on the way, and it looks like thousands of corn farmers will not be able to plant corn at all this year. Is it no exaggeration to say that what we are facing is a true national catastrophe? No, it's no exaggeration, because it's freaking true. And this is just the start of things to come. You think prices are going to go up, sheepies? Oh, I don't know. We are already stretched to the limit. We, the majority at the bottom half. And still, the plutocrats and the tax rats' final fleecing is going on. I mean, they're going to try and tax us any way they can and raise them to bring in some more money. Especially here in Illinois, which is a freaking crap hole. I'm sorry, but I'm so frustrated with the tax rat Democrats in this state. Anyone would be. I predicted this stuff would be going on this year, and I predicted that over a year ago because to me it was obvious. I knew extreme weather was going to happen, and I knew growing was going to be slowed down. There's just no doubt about it. So, you know, why now is a trade war with China big news? You think this is a plan for excuses? You know, it sure seems like it is to me. Everything in the media and politics is BS. It's all contrived propaganda to, you know, further their agenda. War is being talked about, and banning abortions, and every tactic in the book of distraction is being used right now. Just look around. You can't help but notice it. Well, they don't like to mention this, but it was 84 degrees
near the Arctic Ocean last weekend as carbon dioxide hits the highest level in human history.
Oh, yeah, we're really reducing our carbon footprint, aren't we?
Well, don't worry. Once we vote harder for more Democrats, they gonna fix the climate. They just gotta tax us more. Carbon tax, baby, that'll solve it. Freaking morons. We are really delusional creatures at this point, devoid of all pertinent issues or care, and full of crap issues that the plutocrats use to divide us. Same ones over and over. Abortion is rehashed every few years or so. It's all pre-planned because people still think we live in a democracy because one side loves abortions and the other side hates them. Choose one, sheepies. Oh, and don't ever be rational about the issue. You think Republicans say we want to ban abortions even if the women got pregnant from being raped? You think they say that just because they love babies so much? No. It's all about using divisional tactics to keep sheepies in their herds. So you get dimwits elected to Congress saying crap like this.
Rape is kind of like the weather. If it's inevitable, just relax and enjoy it,
said
Clayton Williams from Texas.
Or this one from
Richard Murdoch from Indiana. Even when life begins from that horrible situation of rape, that's something that God intended to happen. Woo-wee! Yes, indeedy. God is in charge, and if the climate is changing, well, it's just His will. Nothing we did wrong. We just trying to make money because God loves a rich man, and He loves an obedient woman.
Jeez. Freaking kooks. How do these people get in government? You got a theocracy here? You freaks? Ay. Well, as we accelerate towards collapse and whistle past the graveyard of omnicide, let's look at what's going on in the effort to keep us unprepared and unaware till the bitter end. You know, this trade war with China BS is an obvious game of controlled opposition, and it will be used as a blame game. A crash is mathematically inevitable, even if you dismiss the uncontrollable aspect of climate change. It's happening now and has been held off in various ways since 2008, which I've discussed many times, QE and low interest rates primarily. What we need to figure out is how will the plutocrats get away with it and what will their response be to it. Trump, who is just an oblivious observer and a puppet in a reality show play, may end up being the next Herbert Hoover, as I said a few weeks ago. I suspect that is the plan of the real scumbags that control this country, who usurped our government long ago. Now this fool that we have to call the president has no idea what's really going on, and his trade war with China will be used as a reason for recession by 2020. So, Donnie Chump, he's going to be blamed for the destabilization of our financial structure, so the banking plutocrats have a perfect scapegoat. Now, on the other side, they need to, come up with excuses too. We have a symbiotic relationship with them, and they have a bubble economy ready to pop as well. The trade war is all fake, and they're going to use it as an excuse as well. They already told their ultra-sheepy people that they will fight the U.S. if they want a trade war. So just remember, nothing is as it seems in the mainstream news. I mean, maybe right now they are grooming Bernie to be the next FDR and seem like a socialist while saving the plutocrats' asses, just like FDR. I don't see a craptard like Biden winning, but then again, we are dumb all over, so I don't know. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, our rationalist revolution will gain control by then. You know what? That reminds me of something. Check this out. 12 million Americans believe lizard people run our country. Anything but calling them plutocrats. They got to make crap up. No one seems to call them plutocrats but me, even though it's the best word to describe them.
Oligarchs or kleptocrats or the deep state.
No, they're actually lizard people, right, David Icke? We got to mix sci-fi with our bits of truth. You sell more books that way, you scumbag. People still listen to that kook, and 117 million idiots still think global warming is a total hoax. You know, David Icke says that same old crap about that, too. It's just a plan for the coming New World Order. Dude, they already took over the world, you idiot. I mean, it's true that they're going to scam us from global warming, but that doesn't mean it's fake, you charlatan craphead. They profit off war too, but that doesn't mean the war is fake. No, Vince, it's all fake. They use crisis actors for the dead bodies. Well, you know, actually, the white helmets in Syria actually did crap like that, but that was false flag tactics. You can't fake a whole war. Well, maybe they can if they really wanted to. They can make people believe anything nowadays. Well, anyways, climate change is undeniable. Even your own attachment to the environment should make that empirically true. If you have any awareness and rationality, you can't poison and destroy and pave the planet and change the chemical makeup of the life-giving atmosphere without consequence. End the debate, for Christ's sake. The plutocrat power elite must be stopped, and the plutonomy system must end. That is the main issue we distract ourselves from. People like David Icke. A global unification is a good thing if all governments are run by people within a democratic, egalitarian system of rationality. It doesn't have to be an evil New World Order. We can still have humane and sensible rules without a small group of insane rulers. Okay, what the hell was I talking about? I got a little off track there. Oh yeah, trade war with China is a hoax. See, some hoaxes are true, but climate change is real. All right. I said enough about that. Now, the very smart and sexy Vincetradomus will give his thoughts on war with Iran. The hype about it, anyways, before I run out of time here. Now, I really think we are unable to conduct another boots-on-the-ground war, especially with a country that can actually fight back. We can't even beat the Taliban, for Christ's sake, like I said, and the Vietnamese out-strategized us. We are the invaders and the bad guys with bad generals employing horrific orders from the top. We need to take it back, we the people. Enough with the countrywide Stockholm syndrome to our plutocrat abductors, god darn it. What's it really all about? What do we want with Iran? Is it really all about the price of oil that they sell? Do we really have to plunder it? And ask the same thing about Venezuela. But why do we gotta F with Iran so much? I mean, is it really about them making a nuke that they actually should be entitled to in their world of constant threats from Israel? I mean, our bestest buddies, the Zionist plutocrats in Israel and the Saudi head choppers, they would love us to invade Iran and destroy the place. But would we really do it just for them at a time when even dumb, patriotic, sheepy Americans are war-weary and suspicious? We have a clueless, dim-witted, bloviating buffoon in the White House who talks like a schoolyard bully to other nations, and you know the guy's probably a little wimpy baby inside. Listen to this tweeting twit of a man-child. Now, last year he so poetically said, Iran will suffer consequences, the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. And now his newest one that just happened recently, he maturely said, if Iran wants to fight, that will be the official end of Iran. Never threaten the United States again. Jeez. Is this not appalling to see and hear this infantile, sophomoric, spoiled rat speak for our country? It's just a crap show, my friends. The only way the mindless U.S. military of meatheads could destroy Iran is with nukes. And, you know, they won't do that because it's bad for business. Nukes will only fly if the plutocrats are threatened and if they feel it's their only way out, or for a tactic to battle catastrophic global warming in the form of a nuclear winter. Vincetradomus says, we're not going to invade Iran, start a war with boots on the ground. we might just bomb them. But we need to pretend there are threats to justify the most horrendous, wasteful military budget in history. So false flags may happen, and we may shoot off and drop some bombs on them, because that's easy, and we love dropping in bombs. It's such a great stimulus for our economy, right? Well, no boots on the ground for real war. They can't pull it off anymore, but I could be wrong. Okay, I hope some of you agree with me and some of you see things in a different way, even if you don't agree with me. Time will tell, and a war might be in the plan to distract from economic collapse as well. But let's leave it at that for now, because I ran out of time. So thank you for joining me. Download the show and tell your sheepy friends to tune in and blow their minds. And let's connect and make a stand together. Now, next show, we're going to have a special guest, Brooksy, the underground Pluty spy. So that'll be fun. Look forward to that. So, until next time, radiate and absorb love and truth. I'm sending out positive energy to y'all. And if Elon Musk and the microwave electromagnetic madmen don't intercept it, I hope y'all can feel it. I'm Vince Marcanti. This is the Plutocracy Report on PRN. And until next time, always remember, there's a light, a white light inside of you. Bye-bye.
If you feel like singing a song and you want other people to sing along, just sing what you feel. Don't let anyone say it's wrong. And if you're trying to paint a picture, but you're not sure which colors belong, just paint what you see. Don't let anyone say it's wrong. And if you're strung out like a kite, or stung awake in the night, it's alright to be frightened. When there's a light, what light? There's a light, what light? There's a light, white light inside of you. You think you might need somebody to pick you up when you drag. Don't lose sight of yourself. Don't let anyone change your bag. And if the whole world's singing your songs and all of your paintings have been hung, just remember what was yours is everyone's from now on. And that's not wrong or right, but you can struggle with it all you like. You only get uptight when there's a light. What light? There's a light. What light? There's a light. White light. There's a light. White light. There's a light. One light. There's a light. White light. There's a light. One light. There's a light. White light. There's a light. One light. There's a light. One light. There's a light. White light. There's a light. White light inside of you. There's a light. White light. There's a light. White light. There's a light. White light. There's a light. One light.